Welcome back to another episode of the YeahDat podcast, hosted by yours truly, West Coast Rob. How y'all doing out there? I hope y'all are doing well, because the homie's doing well. We are back with another episode 70. But before we dive right into episode 70, gotta recap the last episode 69. New year, new issues. We talked about TikTok ban. We talked about drama behind the presidential inauguration parade guests. So if you haven't listened, if you haven't watched it on YouTube, make sure you check it out. Available everywhere podcasts are available. And available on YouTube for y'all to watch if you're more of a visual person. But how y'all doing out there, man? I hope y'all doing well. Yo, it's cold outside. It's like my homies from the east, you know what I mean? It's brick. It's cold outside, y'all. And I don't know. It's cold when states like Texas and like the South are getting snow. My uncle sent me a picture today, actually, and homie was like, yeah, from today in Houston. And I was like, damn, yo, when was the last time Houston got some snow? I lived in when Texas got that big blizzard in like 2022 or 2021. I was living in the DF dub, so we got to experience all that. But hope y'all are bundled up. I hope y'all are prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all are letting y'all's water drip so your pipes don't freeze. Because during that blizzard that I just mentioned in Texas, a lot of people weren't prepared, and a lot of their pipes were busting, and they were out of water, and it was a big debacle. So I hope y'all are prepared. I hope y'all's animals, for those of y'all who got animals chained up outside, 1, shame on y'all. 2, bring them inside. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Which reminds me, man, I saw a video like last week when we got like the first wave of the snow shit, and it was this dude. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all seen it. This dude, his neighbor called animal control or the cops or somebody on him, talking about animal neglect, animal abuse, because it was snowing outside. And then dude recorded it, whatever, when the authority or agency shows up to his crib, and he's like, all right, you know what I mean? Here, I'll take you to my dog. Let's go to the backyard. Like, my neighbor, who called you? My neighbor? So then the animal control or the vet or whoever it was, the owner opens up the door, and it's snowing. Like, it is legit snowing. And the person looks outside and is like, oh, you know what, man? I'm sorry this happened, man. You have a good day. The guy's dog was a husky. That's what they're bred for, the snow, to be in the snow. So as soon as his dog felt the snow for the first time, was out there and just wanted to stay out there, and was good. And he was periodically checking on his dog. But, you know what I mean? Mind your business, people. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have a husky and your dog is outside and it's snowing, bring your dog's ass inside. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But I hope y'all had a good weekend. We're coming off a long weekend. Martin Luther King weekend. That kind of got overshadowed by the presidential inauguration. However, hope y'all had a good weekend. My weekend was busy. My kid plays travel volleyball, and it was some long days. Of course, there was a tournament, and we were playing and busy Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, having to be there. We had to drive about an hour away from my house, having to be there at 7 in the morning and not getting out of there till like 4 on a couple of the days. So it was tiring, man. It was very tiring, but it was cool, you know what I mean, seeing her play. First time playing travel volleyball, but I mean, they did their thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was, all in all, it was good. It was a good weekend, good long weekend. It was tiresome. It kind of went by, and then you get to roll right into the work week and early days again. But with it being cold, I mean, snow is afoot. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we get us a snow day or so. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, because it's cold. I think the high today was like 20, 27 or 23 or something like that. Something crazy. Well, I hope y'all had a good weekend. Oh man, I hope y'all are preparing yourself, dressing accurately to the weather. It's crazy when you see like people without like sweaters and like layers when it's cold as shit outside. It's crazy to me. It's like, yo, do you not own a sweater? Do you not own a jacket? Or let me guess, oh, I'm not that cold. It's not that cold. Like, all right. That's kind of crazy to me. But you always see one. And once you see one, you see like two. It's crazy how you always see it. But and then it's in the summertime, it's the opposite with like the teenagers. Like it's scorching and teenagers are out there wearing fucking hoodies and sweaters and shit. It's like, yo, what the fuck? What y'all doing, man? But hope y'all had a good weekend. Hope y'all are dressing accordingly, taking care of yourselves, taking care of your family, your animals, etc. But yeah, my weekend was good to go, man. You know what I'm saying? So, the homie's getting older. And as you get older, your body isn't the same. You're not built the same as you were when you were younger, feeling somewhat invincible. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can do that. I can do this. I can eat this. I can drink that. I can be up all night. I can whatever. Woo, 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 woo. You know what I mean? So I'm getting older, pushing 40. So I seen there's this company that I see the ad for, and it's for like blood tests. Testing your T, you know what I'm saying, your testosterone levels. So, the homie inquired about it. The homie followed through with it, and I did the blood test. You mean at-home blood test? They send you the whole kit, whatever. Woo, woo. You know what I mean? Sent my blood in. They read it. They send you the results, whatever, and then you do like the follow-up consultation with the doctor. That shit is legit, man. It's legit. Come to find out, and the reason why I did the test, you know what I'm saying, a quick little backstory. The homie's been tired. I mean, I've been feeling fatigued, kind of unmotivated to do a lot of things. So I was like, man, what is up with me? Maybe my testosterone levels are low, because it's normal as men progress in age, their testosterone levels will decrease starting at the age of 30. I'm high 30s, you know what I mean? Pushing 40. So I was like, man, let me get my T levels checked out and see what's going on. That way I can rectify whatever issue it is. But come to find out, my levels are good, you know what I mean? So it's not that, but the homie does have sleep apnea as well. And I told the doctor I try to average around 6 hours at minimum of sleep. And he told me, at minimum, especially with you got a CPAP, try to average at least 7 hours of sleep. With my T levels and everything were good. My testosterone levels, my free testosterone levels were good, especially at the age range I'm at. I had high levels of alanine, I believe it was. Yeah, my alanine levels were high, and that's caused from stress or alcoholism or other underlying issues can cause high alanine levels. So that's something I gotta monitor. So since then, I've kind of cut back on the adult beverages and whatnot. But the doctor was like, yeah, it's probably, your levels are probably high, and it's probably contributed to by like the stress and everything you got going on. Because the homie got a lot going on, man. We got a lot going on, man. So other than that, I recommend y'all doing stuff like that. If your primary care provider sucks, you know what I mean? They got these at home, these companies that you can do it at home. And I'll put the link in the show notes. So if you're interested, check it out. I ain't gonna mention them on here because you know what I'm saying, no, it's just free promo and I ain't gonna do that. But I'll put the link in the show notes so you can get yourself tested. And it's not just for men, it's for women as well. And I highly recommend the company too. It's legitimate. It's legitimate. So make sure you take care of yourself, man. I'm a big advocate of taking care of yourself, especially as you progress in age. The older you get, man, the more you need to take care of yourself. So make sure you're doing that. But let's get to the juicy stuff, man. So last episode we were talking TikTok and TikTok ban. Some of the stuff I saw online was wild. I don't know if the mic cut out on me, but some of the stuff I saw was wild. There were people. So I'm gonna give you I'm gonna tell you what I saw, and I'm gonna give you the points of view that I can understand, and then be on both sides. So I saw a lot of posts of people on TikTok posting like their last TikTok videos or whatnot, and a lot of them were like crying. I seen a lot of crying videos, man. Crying videos, like boohoo tears. You know what I mean? And it's just like, all right, like legitimately boohoo crying. And it's one in particular, y'all probably seen it. It was this dude, and he was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. You know what I mean? I got this. I'm paying for this. I'm going to school. I'm doing this, etc., etc. And I guess in the comments section, people were saying, yo, get a job. And homie's like, I ain't got no time to get a job. I work every day doing school, posting, whatever, yada, yada, yada. So that video, along with a couple other ones of some ladies crying, I'm just looking at it like, wow. That's pretty wild to me. Like, wow, y'all are legitimately crying over these apps. But on the flip side of it, I can somewhat sympathize to y'all or to them and whoever else was crying over the TikTok ban because of, you know what I mean, that's their way of income. That's their means of income. That's how they're getting paid. So the ban is essentially taking away their livelihoods and their, you know what I mean, their means of providing for themselves. So, you know, Sunday morning comes and, you know, I know Saturday night people were like, dang, I'm gonna miss TikTok. I don't want it to go away. Saturday, I was on Facebook and I see somebody say, oh, TikTok's gone, y'all. So I'm like, oh yeah, is it? Let me get on there. So you get on there, it pops. I'm sure y'all know, but for those of you who don't have a TikTok, y'all click on it. It logs on like normal, loads, a video pops up, and instantly, it comes off and a message pops up, and it says, something. We're sorry to inform you, but with President Trump reinstating something, we're hoping something's gonna happen. Some shit like that. And just throughout the day. So TikTok is dark. No one has TikTok. About like an hour or two later, TikTok's back on. And people are just like, oh, TikTok's back, y'all. TikTok's back. So I'm just like, okay. Meanwhile, I'm at this volleyball tournament, so I'm not on there or whatever. I'm not able to follow what's going on or whatever. So I'm like, all right, how is this? How is TikTok still up? So I guess that President Trump and his administration are, what did they say? Hold on. Signed an executive order Monday that directs the Justice Department not to enforce the law banning TikTok for 75 days in order to give his admin an opportunity to determine the appropriate course forward in an orderly way that protects national security while avoiding an abrupt shutdown. So TikTok got reinstated about an hour or two after it went dark. However, TikTok has not been put back, or is not in the stores. Apple Store, Google Store, Android, or whatever. TikTok is not in the stores. So yes, TikTok is back. You're able to use it, whatever. However, with it being removed from the stores, you aren't able to update the app or anything like that. So essentially, it's going to stop working until or unless it actually gets reinstated. Now, with it being back on, Google and Apple have not, or they actually can, but they haven't added it back, TikTok or any of the ByteDance apps, back to their store, because they'd be liable, or they put themselves at risk for fines by the government, which is kind of it's like a crazy little thing if you think about it. The app is back up, however, you can't update it. Excuse me. You can update it, and if it does just start to decline and degrade, you might as well just have banned it in the first place. And it's not just TikTok, it's everything owned by ByteDance is not in the Apple Store. So I know people were preparing to find the next big thing, the next big app. So I know a lot of people were sending me like, oh yeah, they're sending you invites to an app called Lemonade, which is owned by TikTok. So there was no point. So a lot of people went to Lemonade because, oh yeah, TikTok's being removed. However, Lemonade is owned, or Lemonade, excuse me, whatever, however you pronounce it, is owned by ByteDance. So according to Apple, the list of apps owned by ByteDance or its subsidiaries that the company has taken off of its Apple Store include TikTok, TikTok Studio, TikTok Shop Seller Center, CapCut, Lemonade, Hypic, Lark Team Collaboration, Lark Rooms Display, Lark Rooms Controller, what's that? Gauth, AI Study Companion, and Marvel Snap. So all those apps are owned by ByteDance, and all those have been removed from the Apple Store and probably the Google Store. So if you went to Lemonade, you're in the same boat because it's owned by ByteDance. You won't be able to update the app, and it will eventually degrade. Crazy. Then everybody went to RedNote, which I didn't even know what RedNote was. The homie, I had posted something on my Instagram story on the YeahDat podcast Instagram page in regards to the TikTok ban. And my homie sent me a message and he's like, that's crazy. It was in regards to like reinstating or delaying the TikTok ban. And my homie was like, oh, that's burn anyway. People done jumped over to RedNote, which RedNote, apparently I hear good things from RedNote, but RedNote is a Chinese-owned app where a lot of, like, damn near all the verbiage is in Chinese. And you have some people in China who are welcoming to the Americans coming to the app, and there's a lot of people who aren't. They're like, oh man, the Americans are coming and they're messing up our app or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's a Chinese app. It's probably the same thing, and y'all probably gonna have to go through the same thing. So it's crazy because it's like TikTok is getting banned for national security data breaches with China and your information getting leaked to China or whatever. But everybody left that app, TikTok, and went to a straight up Chinese social media app. Crazy. I know my daughters looked into it and I was like, nah. The homie told me about it, so I had to check in to see what that was, and I was like, nah, it's crazy because you can't even understand what any of this stuff says. It's wild. Oh, our people. Those crazy Americans. Crazy Americans. And some of the stuff you see on TikTok is wild. I was when I was on there before the ban about a week or two ago, I was, scrolling on the lives and seeing like people going live or whatnot. And some of the live stuff was like, people were really watching this. Like people, I know it's a lot of ASMR stuff. Like there's one guy, he's writing your name in cursive on like a pad, and it's making like the scratching sound, and he's just writing your name. He's just writing your name. He's like, thank you, friend. Thank you, friend. Da da da. He'll say your name, and then he'll write it. Thank you, friend. Then I saw another dude. He's writing your name, and then he's putting it in like a bubble, like some kind of colored water bubble or something like that. And I was like, what? So I'm scrolling through, seeing what else is on the live, and there's dudes sitting there talking, throwing ping pong balls and bouncing them off pans and shit to make it in a bucket. And they're like, oh yeah, what color ball? Oh, blue, got close. And, people are liking it and stuff. And then like dudes who are racing cue balls like on a treadmill. And I'm looking at this shit like, are we literally sitting here like watching this shit? So I'm watching, I'm like, people are actually legitimately watching this fucking shit happen. And it's crazy. Crazy. I seen a post the other day that said social media rots your brain, and I guess that post is accurate. That statistic is accurate. Wow. And now everybody's favorite coffee spot has since made some changes. If you haven't heard, your favorite coffee spot, Starbucks, has changed their policy. All right. So Starbucks is reversing its open door policy. And that open door policy is, come in, chill, kick it, or whatever. So they're reversing their open door policy after almost 7 years that was implemented in 2018. So people are no longer able to just come in, sit in Starbucks, do work or whatever. They now require that people make a purchase if they want to hang out at its coffee shops or use its restrooms. Now, that open door policy was put in place in 2018, and it stemmed from an arrest that was made in Philadelphia at a Philadelphia Starbucks, where 2 black men who were there for a business meeting were arrested. And I guess they were told to leave from or by employees. So the incident at the individual store, which had a policy of asking non-paying customers to leave, was caught on video and was a major embarrassment for the company. Back in 2018, that sparked the whole open door policy. You can come in and just hang out or whatever. Now, I have been a part of something like that. Back when I lived in Texas, my daughter's soccer team had a Christmas get together at a Starbucks, and we just all posted up at Starbucks and did a gift exchange and all that. It was just a weird location. But anywho, the change of policy comes from new leadership. Brian Nickel, who was hired from Chipotle last year, and he's striving or planning to revitalize the struggling coffee chain. And his vow is to make Starbucks' locations inviting places to linger, with the goal of reestablishing the chain as the nation's community coffee house. So I can kind of understand where they're coming from with the consumers can hang out. I mean, Vice, you gotta buy something in order to use the facilities or to even chill out. You know, it's been a kind of the butt of jokes in sitcoms and shows where people pull up laptops and just hang out or whatever the case may be at Starbucks. It's just cliche. So how do you feel about the new policy that Starbucks is implementing? Does it affect you or does it not affect you at all? I know there's a lot of coffee drinkers out there. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section, man. Let me know. Slide me a DM or just leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Is it a good policy? Do you agree with it? What are your thoughts? Finally, it was a big day for the nation. We had the presidential inauguration the second time around for President Donald Trump. Now, you know, there was, you know, people were saying already had their reservations about it, talking ish about it. You know what I mean? There was the issue that I covered last week in last week's episode in regards to the Mississippi Valley State Band performing in the parade. So I guess there was like a concert or whatever, and one of those artists performing who caught a lot of backlash was Nelly. Nelly performed at the presidential inauguration, and people gave him a lot of shit about it, a lot of shit for it. And Nelly's response to that was something that I understood. I felt it. I don't think people kind of understood the message he was trying to convey. So he performed, and his response was, you know, it's just, he's not red or blue, Democrat or Republican. He wasn't there for Trump. He was there to perform at the presidential inauguration because it's an honor to do so. Then he used the analogy or the example of military members. Now, military members, they serve their country, they go to war, they fight wars, regardless of who the president is. Whether you like them or not, you go and you do your job. I mean, you're doing what you do for your country. Now, people took that and they're like, oh, he's comparing his concert to war? Like, no, he's not comparing it to war. He's using it as an example that military members, whether they are in favor of the candidate or not, they're going to war, they're going to battle, they're serving the country, etc., regardless of who it is in office. So Nelly was saying, yeah, I'm performing at the presidential inauguration, period. Regardless of who's in office, whether I'm for them or not, I'm performing at the presidential inauguration. Something similar to the Mississippi Valley State Band coming and participating in the parade. It's an honor to do it. It's an honor to be there. Regardless of who is there, it's just an honor to be a part of it or be able to perform. So that's what Nelly was trying to convey. And a lot of people kind of misconstrued that, or they heard what they wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying? So how do I feel about Nelly performing? It's not that big of a deal. I agree with it. Like, you're performing at the presidential inauguration. How many artists can say they did that? I actually know somebody who went to the inauguration. I talked to him today about it. And he was just talking about how it was good. It was packed. He said it was entertaining. So, you know what I mean? Whatever. Who can say they've gone to a presidential inauguration, regardless of who's president, you know what I mean? But a lot of shenanigans happen. And I don't know if y'all saw Elon Musk up there doing the heart thing to the crowd or Trump, but the way he did it was raised a lot of eyebrows. And if you don't know what he did, you can either look it up or just go on YouTube and look at the thumbnail for this episode. It's the thumbnail. And I know a lot of people, I seen comments, you know what I mean? They're already like, yeah, they're taking it out of context. That's not what it was, whatever. He was just talking about how much he loved him, whatever, and he held his hand to his heart and he went like that. Yeah, but the way he did it was like, you know what I mean? It was just like he chopped it, like, and it's too similar. It's too similar to, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. Way too similar. And you know the saying, perception is reality. You know what I mean? The saying, perception is reality. Now, people don't understand that, but perception is reality is a saying that is like, all right, cool. Perception that's perceived by whatever person, whatever. Yeah, it's not reality. However, perception is reality because it's reality to that person who is perceiving it. So think about that. It may not be your reality. You may know the truth, but the person who sees it and who's perceiving whatever it is, that is their reality, even if it's just the reality for them in that moment. So for a lot of us out here, the perception is that Elon doing that gesture was a red flag. Now, I already know people are gonna be like, oh no, it's not that. Or people may be like, yeah, it is that. What? I mean, it's just crazy because if you're not racist or you're not whatever that is perceived to go with that motion, that gesture, then think of another motion. There's plenty of other ways he could have expressed himself. But that right there was a little too coincidental, a little too similar to a lot of them motherfucking gestures. So what do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comment section. Are people blowing it out of proportion? Are they taking it out of context? Even though there's more to the gesture, even like with him and how over enthusiastic he was during his portion of the speeches. What are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comment section. Make sure you drop a like as well. And then a lot of people were going in on the pastor, Reverend Lorenzo Sewell of Detroit. People were going in on him. And it's just, I don't know, people are just, we live in a time nowadays where people are, you know, everyone has an opinion and everyone wants to give it off. Was homie being open and out there? Yeah, maybe that's how he is though. Maybe that's how his services are. Maybe that's how all his services are. Who knows? But you already know, Rev went viral. So Sunday services gonna be booming, gonna be packed. And of course, to round it off, round it up, bring it back full circle, the president and his speech, talking about bringing America back to the golden age. The golden age of America begins right now. All right. Working on the economy, he says. Okay, making it his top priority. Trying to flip the U.S.'s decline. Making us a powerful nation again. Okay. He also covered his assassination attempt, saying he was saved by God to make America great again. All right. What else did he say? He said he talked about energy and trade and executive actions on immigration, energy and trade. His admin would reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy, which is kind of crazy because You know, we have a lot of firefighters helping the wildfires in LA who are from Mexico. You know what I mean? We got the firefighters from Mexico helping out. So we'll see what happens there. And then he was talking about having cartels designated as foreign terrorist organizations. Huh. All right. And then he's staking claim and renaming some things, like the Gulf of Mexico. For those of you who don't know where the Gulf of Mexico is, it's that body of water next to Florida, in between Florida and Mexico. Texas touches it, Mississippi, Alabama. He said we're gonna change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And Denali, the highest mountain peak in North America, would be renamed to Mount McKinley, which the U.S. recognized the mountain as Mount McKinley. Where is it? Why does this keep moving on me, man? The U.S. recognized the mountain as Mount McKinley, named for President William McKinley in 1917, but in 2015, the Obama administration restored it to Denali, the traditional native Alaskan name. So Trump is planning on changing it back to Mount McKinley, even though the two Republican senators, Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan, support keeping the name Denali. But yeah, and then talking about the Panama Canal and taking it back, saying we're taking it back. As the U.S., we relinquished control of the Panama Canal in 1999, and it's now run by Panama. But President Trump says we're taking it back, even though Panama says, no, you're not. He said we're going to pursue putting a flag on Mars. We'll pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars. That'd be dope. So, we'll see what happens, man. You know what I mean? Last 4 years, we made it through that. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the most ideal. But only time will tell, man. Only time will tell. Just all you can do is keep doing your thing, man. You know what I mean? Hopefully your government supports you. And if you need help, helps. But with that being said, we going to wrap it up here, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in and listening like always. Make sure y'all do your due diligence and you like, subscribe, leave them comments, man. Them questions I asked, drop some comments in the comments section. I mean, let me know your thoughts. I really want to know what y'all's thoughts are on said topics that we covered today. But if you're listening on the podcast, if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you like it, you rate it on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, iHeartRadio, whatever, Sirius Satellite Radio. Make sure you rate it, you leave some comments on there. I mean, it really helps the podcast, boosts us. Yeah, I mean, puts us out there. So you're doing your part in helping the podcast get put out to people so we can get put on, you know what I'm saying? If you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. YeahDat. Make sure you like the video, you subscribe to the channel, you know what I'm saying, and you stay tuned as we're gonna post more videos. We're gonna have guests on here this year. But other than that, man, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all as always. Thank y'all for your support. And until the next episode, it's the homie West Coast Rob signing out. YeahDat. West Coast Rob.